throwaway account because my main has a lot of identifying info, and honestly, half my family already knows I'm posting about this. I, 28M, am currently being treated like public enemy number one by my entire extended family, and my mother hasn't spoken to me in 4 days. It all centers around my sister, Chloe, 26F, and her upcoming wedding to her fiancé, David, 29M. To give you some background, our dad passed away about 4 years ago from a sudden heart attack. It shattered all of us, but it hit Chloe particularly hard because she was the youngest and, honestly, always a bit of a daddy's girl. Since our dad isn't here, the traditional expectation fell on me to walk Chloe down the aisle. For a long time, I was honored to do it. I've always been protective of Chloe. Even when we were kids, I'd take the blame for things she broke just to keep her out of trouble. When David proposed last year, Chloe immediately asked me to step into Dad's shoes for the ceremony. I agreed without a second thought. I even promised to pitch in financially, about $5,000, to help cover the catering upgrade she was stressing over. Now let's talk about my girlfriend, Maya, 27F. We'd been together for 3.5 years. Maya is a pediatric oncology nurse. She is grounded, kind, incredibly hardworking, and has been my rock through some very dark times, including my dad's passing and a rough patch at my job last year. She has always been nothing but supportive of Chloe too. When Chloe got engaged, Maya helped her put together sample centerpieces, spent a Saturday helping her look at bridesmaid dresses, and even gifted her a spa day when wedding planning got too stressful. So, you can imagine my utter shock about 2 months ago when Chloe sat me down for coffee and dropped a bombshell. Maya can't come to the wedding, she said, stirring her iced latte like she was talking about the weather. I laughed, thinking it was a sick joke. Very funny. What do you mean? She didn't laugh back. Her face was completely flat. I mean, she's not invited. David and I decided we want an intimate, curated guest list, and honestly, Mark, Maya just doesn't fit the aesthetic of the wedding. Plus, there's too much underlying tension between us. I stared at her. Tension? What tension? Maya has gone out of her way for you. Remember last Thanksgiving? Chloe snapped, crossing her arms. When Maya questioned my choice of career path and made me feel stupid about my marketing job. I blinked, astounded by the revisionist history. What actually happened at Thanksgiving was that Chloe was loudly bragging about how her multi-level marketing adjacent lifestyle brand company was going to make her a millionaire by 30, and she looked down on Maya for working a regular, exhausting clot puncher job. Maya calmly smiled and said, "Honestly, stability and helping sick kids is rewarding enough for me, but everyone has different goals." That was it. That was the earth-shattering insult. Chloe had spent the rest of the evening sulking because someone didn't worship her entrepreneurial delusions. "Chloe," I said, keeping my voice as steady as possible. Maya said nothing wrong. "You picked a fight and she defended her profession. That was 10 months ago." "It doesn't matter," Chloe said, her voice rising. "It's my day, my wedding, my photos. Every time I look at Maya, I remember that condescending look she gave me. I don't want her negative energy in the room when I'm walking down the aisle." I sat back in my chair. A cold realization washed over me. This wasn't about Thanksgiving. This was about control, and honestly, a deep-seated insecurity Chloe has always had, where she hates anyone else sharing the spotlight. Maya is naturally stunning, confident, and drama-free. Chloe wanted a bridal party and guest list of people she could entirely control, or who wouldn't outshine her aesthetic. "Okay," I said quietly. Chloe tilted her head, looking hopeful. "Okay, you understand? Good, so you'll still do the walk and keep the financial contribution?" "No," I said. "If Maya isn't invited, I'm not coming. And I'm certainly not walking you down the aisle." The calf seemed to get 10 degrees colder. Chloe's mouth dropped open. "Are you insane? I'm your sister. You promised. I promised to support you, Chloe. But supporting you doesn't mean standing by while you disrespect my partner of nearly 4 years, someone who has done nothing but love and help you. If Maya isn't family enough to sit in a folding chair at your wedding, then I'm not family enough to walk you down the aisle." I stood up, dropped a $20 bill on the table to cover our coffees, and walked out. That was the spark that set off a massive family wildfire. Within 2 hours, my phone was blowing up. First was my mother, sounding panicked and frantic. "Mark, what did you say to Chloe?" "She's at home sobbing her eyes out. You have to fix this right now." I explained what happened, expecting my mom, who always preached family unity, to at least understand where I was coming from. Instead, she took Chloe's side with Olympic-level mental gymnastics. "Mark, you know how sensitive Chloe is right now. Brides get stressed. Why can't you just ask Maya to sit this one out for peace in the family? It's just one afternoon. Do you really want to ruin your sister's wedding over a petty grudge?" "Mom, Chloe is the one holding the grudge," I replied, my voice tightening. "And she's banning Maya over a conversation from a year ago. I'm not punishing my girlfriend to appease Chloe's ego." "If you do this," my mom warned, her voice dropping into a chilly, manipulative register, "your father would be ashamed of you. He always wanted you two to stick together." Bringing our dead dad into a wedding guest list dispute was a low blow that crossed the line. My vision went a little red, but I kept my cool. Don't do that, Mom. Don't use Dad to guilt trip me into letting Chloe treat Maya like garbage. I hung up. Over the next 3 weeks, the pressure campaign intensified. Uncle Greg called to tell me I was letting the tail wag the dog. My cousin Sarah texted me a long paragraph about how marriage is about sacrifice, and I was being selfish. Even David, the groom, sent me a long, passive-aggressive text saying I was being toxic and unsupportive of my future wife. I didn't reply to any of them. Maya, for her part, was an absolute saint through all of this. When I first told her what Chloe said, she was hurt, obviously. She cried a little bit, not because she desperately wanted to sit through a boring ceremony watching people judge her, but because she realized how deeply Chloe disliked her despite everything she had done. "Mark, you don't have to boycott the wedding on my account," Maya told me one evening while we were making dinner. "I don't want to be the wedge between you and your family." "You aren't the wedge, Maya," I told her, wrapping my arms around her waist from behind. "Chloe is. If I let her treat you like dirt and still show up with a smile and walk her down the aisle, what kind of partner does that make me? What kind of message does that send about how I value our relationship?" She turned around and kissed my cheek. "Just don't do anything you'll regret with your mom, okay? I want you to have a family." "My family includes you," I said. Period. End of discussion. As the wedding date got closer, it was set for last Saturday. The tension reached a boiling point. The financial reality of my boycott started hitting Chloe and David hard. Remember that $5,000 I promised? I never transferred the funds. When Chloe realized I wasn't bluffing, she panicked because the caterer required the final balance 2 weeks prior. 10 days before the wedding, Chloe tried a new tactic. She didn't call. She showed up at my apartment unannounced around 7:30 p.m. When I opened the door, she looked stressed, her hair unwashed, wearing an oversized hoodie. She didn't look like a glowing bride. She looked like a stressed-out 26-year-old in over her head. "Can I come in?" she asked softly. I let her in, and she sat on our living room couch. Maya was quietly upstairs in our bedroom studying for a nursing certification exam so she wouldn't have to be part of the awkwardness. "Look," Chloe started, staring down at her hands. I spoke to David. We talked about it." "Okay," I said, leaning against the kitchen counter. "We're willing to compromise," she said, looking up with a glimmer of desperate hope in her eyes. "Maya can come to the reception, but she still can't come to the ceremony. The ceremony is small, only immediate family and close childhood friends, and seating is limited, but she's invited to the party afterward. And we really need that catering check cleared, Mark. We're short on the deposit." I stared at her in sheer disbelief. Did she actually think this was a compromise? Did she think I was so stupid, or so desperate to buy my way back into her good graces, that I would accept an arrangement where my partner of nearly 4 years is good enough to eat free cake and drink cheap wine at the reception, but too embarrassing or unwanted to witness the actual wedding vows? "Are you listening to yourself, Chloe?" I asked, my voice dangerously calm. "What? It's a compromise. It's meeting you halfway," she protested, her voice cracking slightly. "Meeting me halfway would be apologizing to Maya for being a toxic snob and inviting her as an equal guest to the entire event," I said, stepping closer. "Instead, you're offering to let her be a second-class guest at your party while you still treat her like trash. And you have the nerve to ask for $5,000? It's my wedding." She screamed, the mask finally slipping, tears springing to her eyes. "Why are you doing this to me? Why are you choosing her over your own flesh and blood? She's just a girlfriend. You might break up next year, but I am your sister forever." That sentence right there, "she's just a girlfriend," sealed the deal. It confirmed every suspicion I had about how low she valued Maya and our relationship. "Get out," I said, pointing toward the front door. "Mark," I said, "get out of my home right now." She sobbed, cursed me out, called me a misogynistic traitor who was letting a woman ruin our family, and slammed the front door so hard it rattled the pictures on the wall. Saturday rolled around. The wedding happened. I stayed home with Maya. We ordered takeout Thai food, drank a couple of beers, and watched a terrible sci-fi movie on Netflix. But my phone was buzzing off the hook all afternoon. Apparently my absence caused a massive logistical and social disaster. Because I was supposed to walk Chloe down the aisle and I had pulled out entirely, the family had to scramble. My Uncle Greg ended up stepping in to walk her down, which apparently looked awkward because Greg has a bad knee and was wearing a suit that didn't match the groomsman. Worse, when guests asked where I was since I was listed in the program as the person giving her away, my mom panicked and tried to lie, telling people I had food poisoning and was hospitalized. That lie completely blew up when one of my cousins saw my Instagram story of Maya and me eating pad thai on the couch with the caption, "Quiet Saturday nights hit different." By Sunday morning, my phone was an absolute war zone. My mom sent me a text calling me a sociopath for publicly humiliating my sister on her wedding day. Extended family members I haven't spoken to in 3 years were messaging me on Facebook calling me toxic. David sent a furious voice note calling me a coward who couldn't handle family duty. Even Chloe herself sent one final text late last night. I hope you're happy. You ruined the happiest day of my life out of pure spite. Don't ever talk to me again. So, Reddit, I'm laying it all out. Did I cross a line by refusing to walk my sister down the aisle and cutting off my financial support just because she banned my girlfriend from the wedding? Am I the asshole for letting my family's big day get blown apart over this? AITA? EDID. Just to clear up a few things people are asking in the comments, no, Maya never demanded I boycott the wedding. In fact, she begged me to go so I wouldn't ruin my relationship with my mom. This was 100% my decision because I refused to tolerate disrespect toward my partner. The $5,000 was money I had saved up specifically to help them out as a wedding gift loan combination. It was never a formal contract, just a verbal promise I made when things were good. Obviously, that money is staying in my bank account now. My mom has still not spoken to me since Sunday, which, honestly, kinda peaceful. UP date, added 2 days after the original post. Hey everyone, thanks for the overwhelming response. Reading through thousands of comments really helped ground me when I was feeling guilty because of the gaslighting from my family. An update on the situation: yesterday afternoon, an unexpected package arrived at our doorstep. It was addressed to Maya. Inside was a handwritten note from David's older sister, Clara, who is actually a really cool person and was a bridesmaid. The note said, "Hey Maya, I just wanted to reach out and apologize on behalf of some of our family members for how toxic and exclusionary things got. Chloe threw a massive tantrum during the reception because half the guests kept asking where Mark was, and when people found out she banned you over a petty disagreement about Thanksgiving, a lot of people thought she was acting like an absolute bridezilla. Just wanted you to know some of us see right through it. Hang in there," Maya cried when she read it, but tears of relief. It felt vindicating to know that the truth about Chloe's behavior was out in the open, even among her own in-laws. As for my relationship with Chloe and my mom, still totally NC, no contact. My mom tried to text me this morning asking if I could come over and talk like adults, but I told her that until she and Chloe issue a genuine, unreserved apology to Maya for their toxic treatment, there's nothing to talk about. She replied with, "You're cutting off your own mother over a girlfriend?" And I left her on read. Life goes on. We're taking a weekend trip to the mountains next week with just the two of us. Thanks for keeping me sane.